a darker side of Dixie, away from the music and the lights. There's a new game in town.
You'll be provided with a guide, trackers, and the weapons of your choice.
I need to file a missing person report.
The competitors are deadly.
We pride ourselves in hunting only combat veterans, men who have the necessary skills to make our hunts more interesting.
And they always win.
You want to find your father? Get somebody who knows the city to show you around.
Now, the opposition is about to get one last chance.
What kind of a name is Chance?
My mama took one.
Our friend Mr. Boudreaux, Silver Star, Marine Force Recon. He's obviously not someone we should underestimate. He is an annoying little insect. And I want him stepped on hard.
We need to get out of here now.
Ladies first.
What?
These men will chase after you. You mad at you for business or pleasure?
Both. Look at it this way. You're gonna get to meet Elvis. Give it a rest, pal.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is the hard target.
You miss me?
From internationally acclaimed action director John Woo.
How's it feel to be hunted?
You tell me!
Hard target.
You blow it! You blow it! You blow it! You blow it!
Welcome to You Blew It. This is the show where we watch turd sandwiches in HD so you don't have to, reliving our childhoods one Blu-ray disc at a time. I'm Roden, and of course, sitting across the desk from me here in the Roden Family's Fun Center is Thunder. How's it going, man?
It's going, man. It is going.
And we got a very special treat today. On his day of birth, he's actually naked right now.
Yeah. Birthday suit.
Mr. JD.
Yeah, LL. Made it.
It's interesting because
you're gonna have to wash this cushion after
Oh yeah, no, it's getting burned.
Yeah,
it's getting burned. The whole chair is going right into the trash.
It's a little humid in here. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it is kind of humid. It is a little humid in here.
Yeah, I closed up the door
and the window too.
And the window.
Is that because your neighbors just had a baby?
Just had a baby. You want to be nice.
All right.
We were watching a very loud action movie.
We were.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we should probably power through this then really quickly. Otherwise, we're going to be like sweating our balls off in this room.
Possibly. And especially with John being in his
in my birth suit. Yeah, it's going to be weird.
On my
gonna be
very
a weird,
expensive IKEA chair.
Yeah.
There's going to be a weird like light brown stain right where his crack was.
Do you remember that thing and you would do in like summer camp where they would like put like soup in a piece or something in a piece of paper and then fold it and then like unfold it and it would make like a shape? Like, and make a design.
And
like
it's a design that's
liquid,
like
put like paint into a piece of paper and fold it in half and go, that's what I'm doing to the chair right now.
So you're
going to
get up and
there's going to be a design. You're like, oh, it's a butterfly.
It's a butterfly.
It's a butterfly. It's beautiful.
John left us a Rorschach test. Nice.
Smells awful in here though, but look at that.
It's beautiful. It's
frame that.
It's a tulip, I think.
Going to frame that shit. Literally.
So we always say this childhood shit. Oftentimes it's some movie that we've never watched from our childhood.
Right.
This, unlike this movie.
Yeah.
Boy, this was a big part of the JD and Thunder relationship, was shaped not only by Van Damme, but this particular Van Damme movie.
Yeah, this one, like when you text me, I was gonna tap out for the night, but when you text me that we were watching this, I was all in. I hadn't seen this in I haven't seen this in a while, and two, it was probably one of my top Van Damme films. It's so like. I'm ridiculous.
I'm going to say, we had to redo a restart here. I know
and
how the sausage is made or whatever, but we just restarted the beginning again because we had a little technical hiccup. But you said possibly your favorite Van Damme movie.
I think only because it's got... I would say Bloodsport goes in this, in Cyborg too. They're just like a little wacky, and they do a little bit more just like stylistically than like a Lionheart. Which could be a straight to video. I mean, it feels straight to video. There's not a lot of like style to it. This is just like over the top, like where John Woo is just like throwing everything at the screen essentially. I would say a cyborg kind of. Albert Pyun is kind of doing something also kind of crazy in that film.
Yes.
And then Bloodsport's just in the league of its own. But yeah, this movie's like, it's, I would even say, like, I know people are like, Time Cop gets a lot of like fanfare and air.
Love Time,
but it's not
a movie that made the most money for him up to that point.
It did, and it's like it's probably more unique and interesting story. Why, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's got a lot going on.
Time Cop is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, Peter Hyams, sure. Yeah, he's a competent director, but he's not wacky like John Woo, where he's just like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show Wilford Brimley in slow motion riding away on a horse from an explosion. And you're like, yeah.
Can we talk about this just a little bit? Like, speaking of the slow-mo stuff, like there's a lot of slow-mo in this movie. And I'm not as big of a John Woo fan as you guys are. I don't sport his whole catalog.
Yeah, right.
But like, I mean, some of this stuff, it didn't need to be in slow motion.
Well, yeah, I mean that's like his whole style.
Yeah, okay, that's
like
a style.
It has to be like
it's great.
Whatever has to be in slow motion. I guess it's something that you really can't understand. Maybe a film will be like, we got to put it in slow motion, but like. Otherwise, I mean, slow motion is a stylistic choice overall, right?
Sure, but it's like in every scene, there's at least two parts that are in slow-mo.
He'll do weird things in slow motion too,
exactly,
right? Like somebody lighting a match or something, where it's just like something that in any other film, no one would ever bother putting it in slow-mo, and he does.
Do you think he's one of the first guys to change the speed of one shot, like within the shot? You know, I noticed that a couple of times where it'll be like,
I noticed that too.
It'll be like in regular, and then it'll go into slow-mo or whatever. But you started seeing that a ton in the early 2000s, where they'd go the opposite direction. It would speed up and then go normal.
Well, see, we're seeing one right now. Like, there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where it like zooms in on an American flag that's flying over like the police station where they're on strike and stuff, and like. It's all in slow-mo. The flag is waving in slow-mo, and then all of a sudden it speeds all the way back up and it's waving, and
I think later, like down. Now that's probably stupid easy with like digital cameras, but I remember at the time they had like, because you would see that move in certain films. I remember they had like a device that would change, because it's about how fast they shoot the film
physical
through the
speed of the
and
actual
they would have
film.
to actually like change a dial on the camera, and it became actually more. But he's doing it here, like he shot it at 24 frames per second, and they're slowing it down.
Yeah,
to like
but it's a little too ridiculous for me.
Like, I mean, this whole movie is ridiculous. I mean,
I don't know. It's just like
most of Woo's stuff is pretty ridiculous, and either you're into it or you're not. I mean, or you're it's fine, but. Boy, we were into
this
it.
Same movie has been
made.
Did
we even say? I mean, we're watching Hard Target.
Oh yeah.
Did we say that?
The trailer always runs at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
So,
like, easy to figure out. But what year are we talking? This is 1991.
I believe so. Yeah.
91 or 92.
I believe it's 91.
I think you might be right. 91. I will say that this. On the drive over here.
What the fuck's wrong with this? It's 93.
Oh, God.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 1993.
Yeah. Okay. On the drive over here, Thunder and I were in the car, and I was like, man, that poster reminds me of one thing. You know what it is? He couldn't come up with it. But yeah, this poster was at our dojo.
Yeah.
No, it was in our kickboxing gym on the wall. And so when we were doing like drills, like, whatever, you would be facing all one direction towards the wall.
It was always
and it was that poster.
Yeah.
Was on. I don't know if there was any other posters on that wall.
We had the first Ultimate Fighting Championship. We had that poster. I don't know if you remember that. Because they must have sent that to all the gyms that they could find on a mailing list.
Right.
And we had it up there, and no one knew what it was going to be about. And the very first Ultimate Fighting Championship was like this weird pay-per-view thing that everyone was like, "Is it pro wrestling? Is it fake? Is it real?" But they sent us a poster, so we had that up for a while, and we had Hard Target up for a while.
Hard Target, yeah.
I think it was just our Japanese instructor, whatever free posters he got that were like martial arts related.
Yeah,
right. Adjacent.
Which
is weird because Hard Target's more just like a gun
totally weird.
Gun fu or something.
Yeah.
It'd be like having like a John Wick poster up or something.
But up to that point, it would be pretty safe. If you had a Van Damme poster in your dojo, it was because he was doing martial arts in the movie. But this was just like
there's going to be some high kicks.
And there's plenty of high kicks.
There's plenty of high kicks in this.
That's one of talking about weirdness of this film. Which again, like if it was like a straight to video film or if it was made for Netflix today, it wouldn't do the same thing. But like when they introduce Van Damme on the street and they do like a slow-mo reveal of his leg.
Yeah.
Like it's a gun,
Like
but
it's
it's
a gun,
just his
yeah.
leg. And it's like his jacket moves back and there's like a sound effect to it. It's like, and like it shows his leg in slow-mo and you're like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
Here's
but like you would no one but John Woo would do that.
Here's an easy way
Would
to
have the balls to do it.
remember this movie for people who are like, I'm not so familiar with the Van Damme catalog. It's
Some
like
serious Jerry curl going
I was gonna
on.
say it's
Mullet.
one of 2 movies where he has an amazing mullet. Time Cop, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's
shorter
It's
than
shorter
this,
and
yeah.
coiffed. But
Yeah.
this is the one where it's really, really, really short on top and really, really long and party in the back.
Yeah.
And all of it is moosed or gelled up.
You know what? I remember when they came out.
It looks slimy.
It looks slimy. It looks wet. The entire time.
John Woo liked it. You're gonna like this, Roden, because it looked good in slow mo.
Yeah.
Because when he's spinning around and moving,
Yeah.
the
You can
hair
see it's
moves.
beautiful.
Yeah,
It is beautiful. And he's got like that long overcoat with the mullet. And so when he does a spinning hook kick, you got all sorts of shit flowing in slow-mo.
Right,
It's
right.
really
which
beautiful.
I mean, it looks good. It
does.
looks good. It looks good. I mean, it gave me a fucking hard on.
But it's
it pulls
you
it off.
get a hard on in all these Van Damme movies because he's a beautiful man.
He is
we say this every
gorgeous.
time. He's a beautiful
is.
man.
Yeah.
It's a real Adonis.
Yeah, he's a real Adonis. This
I
hair,
had a hard target this whole movie.
you sure did. But his hair is so fucking wet in this whole movie,
it's so-
man.
Like when it's not in slow mo, it's just fucking gross.
It looks like he just went for a swim here. Look at this. It's like
It does look like Top Ramen. Or
yeah, it's like so like curly.
Yeah.
top ramen.
Yeah.
Oh my
Jesus.
god.
Okay, so the
Let's
plot.
let's not do the whole. Let's not talk about the whole movie.
we don't
I
have
like-
to because the plot of the movie is
Yes.
the most dangerous game. That's it.
Yes.
And
They're
it's-
hunting homeless veterans.
That's it.
Yeah.
They millionaires pay to hunt homeless vets in New Orleans.
Lance Hendrickson is the main bad guy that basically sets up the hunt.
Yeah,
right?
and he has a sidekick, his main henchman,
Yeah.
who is played by Arnold Vosloo.
The poor man's oh shit. The poor man's Billy Zane.
Sure, maybe.
Kind of remind me of a Jason Statham, actually.
Sure,
in it a
yeah,
little
sure.
bit.
That's
Yeah.
all. I mean,
I can
sort
see
of.
that.
I feel like he
yeah.
could have he was Jason. You know how Kodak went way in on digital cameras before digital cameras blew up.
Yes.
And they blew a bunch of their money because they were too early. Like this guy was Jason Statham before the market was ready for Jason Statham.
Huh, interesting theory, because this dude does have a ton of straight to video
Yeah, and
shit.
he's good in
Well,
this.
he plays.
Is he not interesting in this
Oh,
movie?
he's totally interesting in
Yeah.
the music. And I
Yeah,
was waiting
yeah,
to say
totally.
this for the
He's
show.
great. He's
I
great.
remember being kind of annoyed by him when I was younger, but watching him now, I was like, this dude fucking steals just about every
does.
scene
He
he's
does.
in.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Absolutely.
great.
He's
He's
awesome.
probably the
Lance
best.
Hendrick-
Lance Hendrickson.
I mean, Lance
Best
Henderson in this movie,
actor.
But he's chewing scenery.
he is
Oh, yes.
chewing. He's like over the top.
Yeah.
But the lines they gave this dude, his character's name is
pretty
Pick.
they're funny.
Pretty funny. They're
I
pretty
feel like you
ridiculous.
could throw Pick Andrew Vosloo. What are we going
Vosloo?
with? Vosloo.
Yeah,
What
I
are we
think it's
going with?
Arnold or Andrew Vosloo.
But you could throw him in we were talking about this earlier. You could throw him in a Justified, and he would
Oh
work
sure.
out.
Oh yeah. You
man.
get like
he
an
would
older
play
Vosloo in the
he would
Justified,
play in
yeah.
a Justified episode.
Sure,
for sure.
absolutely.
But yeah, he's great in this.
Yeah, so it's the most dangerous game. He's the right hand man, and I guess the plot really gets going when a daughter of one of the veterans who gets hunted, and
In the very beginning,
spoiler
yeah.
doesn't win the most dangerous game. He loses it with a couple of arrows to his chest,
Right.
and an exploding dock like right across from
everything.
everything in downtown New Orleans.
I mean, they've got fucking grenade launchers going
All
off.
sorts.
They've got
motorbikes,
mini
running
guns.
there, a
They've
fucking
got
Mercedes running through mud. They got everything here.
Yeah, Lance Hendrickson has a one-shot pistol
What is
elephant
that?
gun.
I don't know. It's like some
I think
sort
it's
of
an
pirate's
elephant
gun or
gun.
something. I don't
Did
know.
you say a pirate's gun?
Yes, exactly.
I always thought it was like a
musket.
Well, I always thought it was like a maybe it was supposed to be like a rifle type
and it's,
bullet.
like,
That's why
shortened.
it's like
Well, that's
the
it.
bullets are
I-
extra big.
yeah. So I think it's like
that's an elephant gun round, right? Isn't that what
I
that
don't
is?
know, man.
When in true John Woo fashion, when he shoots something and it hits, it blows
just
up.
explodes.
It explodes,
Yeah.
which
It
is like
explodes.
why you watch a Woo film.
Yeah.
There's so much gunpowder in that bullet
Yeah,
that
it just
creates
blows up on
a
contact.
small mushroom
Yeah.
cloud.
So she's coming down to find out where her missing father is, and in her search, She bumps into a Van Damme. She bumps into another homeless person who was friends with her father. And then she goes to the police station and talks with a lovely policewoman who's the only person in this police station because they've defunded the police.
They have, yeah.
Down there at this time in 1993.
And the police are on strike.
The police are on strike.
It's a chop. It's a Chaz.
That's why I said
Chaz.
Chop Chaz. That's why they're getting away with all this manhunting down there. It's just,
That's right.
No one cares. Cops aren't on duty. Nothing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a madhouse. And so Van Damme ends up deciding to help this woman find her missing father.
Right.
That's basically the plot of the movie while all of this hard target manhunting, dangerous game shit's going on. Through it, one of the other homeless veterans who is a buddy of Van Damme and is helping them out.
Roper.
Is his name Roper, really?
Yeah.
Something like, yeah.
So he ends up playing the most dangerous game, and again, spoiler, he loses.
You know what's funny? Like this movie, while out in 93, hits a couple of things. One, homelessness and the homeless crisis.
Yes.
This hits. I lost the second one. And third,
Gun violence.
the defund the police. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
So there's two things it's hitting that are happening today. The third is that like billionaires would spend anything to kill homeless people just for sport, which I would be like, if that came out on Twitter or like the Washington Post, you'd be like, yeah, I kind of thought. I thought that was happening.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah, I could see like if they
out.
came out with like Elon Musk and I don't know, name some other like wacky billionaire.
Bill Gates.
Bezos. They have a hunting club in the weekends where they just kill homeless people for sport. You'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, like these fucking he created a spaceship that looks like his penis and flew it into space. So yeah, he's probably shooting homeless people on the weekends. I
mean, this idea of like bazillionaires trying to feel something that no other human gets to feel,
absolutely.
Other than a select
The only
few.
thing that would happen
Right.
now would be like, and then they drain their blood so they can try to live forever.
Yeah, right.
Or something like that, right? Like there'd be some other, like the
They're
reality.
harvesting them for something.
Right,
to
the
help them
reality would be so much more like bizarre
Yeah.
than what actually Hard Target ever came up with.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's basically the plot. We don't have to get into plot points. I mean, we could set up to where all of the fun little tidbits happen. In the beginning, like you spoke about when Van Damme's introduced, for me, there's a convertible Z28 that Yancey Butler, Nat or Natasha, as Van Damme would say, she's driving that, which is a highlight for me.
A lot of shots of that car.
What year do you think that car was?
Oh, shoosh. That's like, well, this is a 93, so that was probably a 91 or 92.
They made that body style in the 92.
Yeah, because I believe 93 was the first of the next body style, I think.
When those thugs come up and they're like mugging her and the guy kicks the door
It
shut,
makes me so angry.
does it pain you
It
a little
really
bit
hurts.
when he kicks the
Because
door?
I always think like that left a dent and that's gonna be really hard to get out.
Well, and then Van Damme like leg swoops him.
Yeah,
right.
nobody
On the
has
hood,
any respect for
falls
the
down
Camaro.
on the hood.
Yeah.
I mean that hood's fucked.
Yeah,
That
back
hood's
is
You know,
fucked.
credit to the Camaro, not a scratch on
no,
the thing.
and she keeps driving. It looks great.
Looks absolutely great.
Like a cobalt blue. Of
Now
some sort.
the
It's a gorgeous color.
the actress, the actor,
Yancey Butler, yes.
Yancey Butler. There are some problems here, man.
Yeah.
There are some big problems. Like she was from TV, right?
I
She was,
think
like,
she
soap
was on.
operas
Yeah,
or something,
no, I don't
or
think it was
what?
soap operas, but more like your sort of like
sitcom or something.
It was like a TBS kind of straight. It was like before TBS and TNT. Like
Right.
I feel like anymore they probably have shows that are all these networks have shows. They're like, oh, that's prestige TV.
Yeah,
but like in
before
the
that.
90s, if you were like on a show that was on TBS
Or
it was,
USA.
like, not good,
Right.
And
Right.
she was on.
She was
I
on
think
one
it
of
was
those.
a Witchblade, I believe it was called, on TBS or USA or TNT. I don't know. I can't tell the difference between
I can't
the three
either.
of them.
I can't either.
But it was probably shot on PAL, and it looked
and
weird.
in Vancouver somewhere.
Yes, in Vancouver, and it had
Yeah.
like a weird dull frame rate thing going on, and it wasn't good.
Yeah,
and
she
she's
is-
from that. That's her big thing.
She's not great, but it's also like she kind of dissolves into the background of this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, they
a
do.
little bit.
It is
Like,
supposed to be a movie about her finding her father, and it
But-
quickly she doesn't have a lot.
she gets
to do.
replaced, right? Pretty quickly. But
And also
all
what
of
gets
her shit
replaced-
is 80 yards.
I was gonna say also her voice is replaced.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything with her is 80 yards.
When she came on the screen, you were like, "Oh my God, she's gorgeous."
She
She's got
is
these,
gorgeous.
crazy, like beautiful eyes, like very distinct.
giant eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like an anime character.
And then she opens her mouth, and it's she's ADR'd. I don't know what the reasoning is,
and it's very like it's not well done.
No.
I always want to see how that process takes place, like with a movie like this too. It's like, are you doing it in the same room that we record this podcast? Because I can hear fucking echo.
Well, I can tell you when I was at the UW film and video production course that I took, that we actually had to go in a room and do some ADR, and it sounded terrible when we were done doing it because it was in a booth, and then they try to take the onset ambient noise that you have. That's why you
add it in,
but you can never recreate.
Right,
it's very hard unless you go in there and set up everything, and no one's going to do that.
But wouldn't it sound better if it was just more dead?
But then they just end up ADRing everybody, so they all sound like
yes,
weird.
I guess so.
You yeah, that's kind of true because it's like, it's Van Damme. Fuck it, let's ADR him too.
ADR everything. Yeah.
Chances are no one understood him on set at that point, and so he does a ton of ADRing in these, especially these early Van Damme movies when his accent was so thick.
Yeah.
But that was common back then. You watch like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, and even into Return of the Jedi.
True.
There's a shit ton of ADR in there. You're just like,
but it seems to blend a little bit.
Yeah,
better,
because you've got goddamn Skywalker Ranch doing their magic back then in '83.
That's true.
God knows what they're doing here.
Yeah.
So you got that cool scene at the beginning. I mean, shit. Let's go through some of the highlights at the beginning when he's introduced. The sweep on the hood of the car.
Oh, yeah.
He does a hook kick. Classic Van Damme thing. Guys running towards him, and he kind of swings that away and hook kicks the back of his neck, which sends him hurling through a window.
He does like
that
even the way
diner owner.
I know.
Jesus.
The way he even opens that like fight scene. He hook kicks a guy and then doesn't put his foot down and like hops.
Oh yeah,
and then
hops
hook
and hits
kicks the other guy, right? Like,
that was a good scene.
Like
man.
like that'd be insane to try to actually do that in one shot.
It's a tough deal.
He's like, I would say, like I said this when we were watching it, physically and as an actor, I know Seagal I feel like is in the news a lot lately for all his Russian weirdness, whatever.
Weirdo.
But can we just Van Damme was so much better across the board.
That war was won a while ago.
Humor better.
Yeah.
His physicality, all that. Like Seagal had one speed.
That war was won years ago.
He was just doing Seagal was just doing a thing of John Wayne.
Yeah.
But with martial, like with Aikido. But
And he only really had like 2 or 3 decent movies.
I would agree. Yeah.
Like Under Siege was probably the best
Solid.
one.
How deep are you guys? You guys are like 6 or 7 films in now.
Of what?
Hard Target.
Of
Van Damme.
Oh, shoosh.
The Van Damme series.
Yeah, we're got to be closing up on 10. I
Jesus.
think. Yeah, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
God, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've lost track.
What? Oh shit! You guys are getting close to the quest.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we are.
We are very close.
We are very close to the quest.
Because
that was when it was his peak, and he was like, "I'm going to use my juice to direct and make my own film."
Correct. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. You want to join us for that one?
I don't know if I could watch that again.
I don't know if I've watched it since seeing it in the theater.
I don't think I have either. And I probably remember 90% of it because it's just not there's not a lot there.
Yeah.
He had a Timothy Dalton in there, if I remember correctly, one of the Bonds.
Yeah.
He's in there.
It's
really.
Let
me guess. Plays a rich British guy.
I don't recall what he plays in there.
I don't know. There's an island where they fight in a sport to the death that includes blood, but it's a period piece.
It's a period piece, dude.
Yeah.
So it's the prequel to Bloodsport.
What year is it? Is it like the 1920s or something like that?
It's rough. It is.
Yeah,
really
that's coming
rough.
up. That's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? I would say the other one you got really excited for, the other action scene was when you were like,
I like that whole sequence. So there's a sequence about mid-film.
Yep.
Where things start kicking. Like the first half of the film is I don't know. Some
trying
sort
to solve
of weird,
a mystery.
Yeah, I was gonna say police procedural sort of with some action.
Yeah, we got to find out
who did the thing. Then there's a
this
dirty
is the guy
doctor,
who's supplying them
right.
with, and there's a dirty all that.
But then about halfway through, there's a sequence that starts. It's like morning in the bayou or morning in Nolo.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and
Nola, is it?
Nola, New Orleans. Nola. Thank you. It's morning in Nola, and one of the guys is trying to bust it out of town. Mm-hmm. He gets his brains blown out, whatever. But that kicks off like a solid like 15-minute action sequence.
Yes.
Motorcycles, car chase.
Motorcycles, squibs going off everywhere. Like Van Damme surfing a motorcycle.
That was pretty. Okay, let's talk. Can we talk about this for a
Sure,
second?
yeah.
So that scene right there where he has Yancey's character on the back of the motorbike, and they go up to like a road closed sign
Yeah, it was like
on a highway or on an off ramp or something on a highway, right?
Like they're building the off ramp and it's ending right there or whatever.
She jumps off the bike. He turns the bike around and faces one of the oncoming cars that's filled with villains.
Yep.
And or filled with bad guys. And he fucking jumps up onto the seat of this, standing on the seat, and like you said, surfing the motorbike back towards
He's like
the
Teen
car.
Wolf.
He's like Teen Wolf
on a motorcycle
instead of a van. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the motorbike is fucking losing fuel because it's been shot twice
Through the tank.
through the tank.
I feel like that would have lost fuel a little earlier.
Little quicker than that,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
I mean, that's where I was going to go with that.
Yeah.
It's like, a motorbike tank is pretty small.
It's not a lot of gas.
Not a lot of gas in there.
It must have just hit it. Right
I love
there.
that only like any other gas tank you shoot in a movie
But explosions.
explodes. His is like it takes
Well,
two in
in-
the tank and it's like, it's fine.
Literally in this movie, many vehicles
everywhere.
have exploded
Yeah.
just by getting pecked in the tank.
Just barely touched. Yeah.
Pecked in the tank.
Pecked in the
One of my favorite late night movies. But so he rides
Showtime,
the motor.
Cinemax?
Yeah, he rides the
Andy
bike
Sedaris?
towards the Chevy Blazer.
It is a Blazer.
And then fucking jumps up onto the hood, does a somersault over the top of it, and then lands on his feet
Yeah.
on the road. And this was, of course, in slow-mo. Do we think that was actually Van Damme, or must have been a stunt?
No, it's a stunt double,
Had
but
to
whatever
be a
the stunt double does is incredible.
It's awesome.
It's a crazy
You
stunt.
know they're not going that fast, but they're going fast enough to where his momentum and the car's momentum has to send him rolling over the top of this vehicle.
For sure.
And the stuntman lands it on his feet.
Yeah.
And
Even
almost
if they
pulls it out.
And like I said when we were watching it, it's like even if they're going like 5 miles an hour, that is incredible.
Yeah.
Like that's
And it
an
looks
incredible
amazing.
stunt.
But I'm just saying, like that
it
whole,
looked
like
great.
again, it starts with that guy getting his brains blown out, but it goes like from almost like set piece to set piece. There's like multiple in a row, and I think that's what I like about that whole sequence. It's just like there's the shootout downtown that goes to like him and Yancey on the motorcycle together, which is also some weird stuff. Like she takes the handlebars
while
and he's shooting, which is its whole thing. Then it goes to his surfing thing. Then he jumps on a train. And there's like any one of those could just be a scene into itself, and they just be done. And John Woo's like, no, we're just gonna pack these back to back to back, and I'm just gonna like keep throwing crazy stunts at you.
And you got to give him credit too that like he understands that. Okay, I had that mid scene where it was like there's a lot of action packed in there. I've got to top that with the finale.
Yeah.
And this is my problem with a lot of these movies that we watch, especially straight to video ones.
Yeah.
I've said this before, like with a Wind Cop movie, you get this amazing action scene in the middle, and at the end they can't live back up to that. And so like you need to either make that the end of the movie and put something there before, or tone that back, or slice it in half and make, but like this guy gets it. Like as ridiculous and over the top the end of this movie is, because it's batshit crazy. It's like like fucking floats exploding in a warehouse with doves flying all over.
We watched one of the special features. It was a pretty long interview with John Woo about this movie.
Yeah,
and he talks about like. Was he doing a movie with Oliver Stone or something like that? Like
he said that his
first American movie that he wanted to make
that was offered to him.
That was offered was being produced by Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
So the end of this movie is fucking weird. It's like it goes into almost like an existential reality.
It is really.
Bit.
It is kind of that way.
Yeah,
Van Damme and Hendrickson
I had
are
kind of
fighting.
forgotten that part where he and Lance Hendrickson are like tripping on acid.
It does seem like they're like.
It seems very reminiscent of like some scenes in Platoon.
Yeah, or
where,
even like Natural Born Killers.
Or Natural Born Killers. Yeah. And it very Oliver Stone. It kind of came across to me as very Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone had nothing to do with this.
No, not
at all.
No. I mean, Sam Raimi. It sounds like had a lot to do with this movie, which I didn't know, but apparently you did.
Yeah, produced by Sam Raimi, right?
Yeah.
Written by the guy that wrote Darkman.
Sam Raimi's brother shows up in this movie for a bit, like
Ted.
a split second. Ted. We got to talk about, of course, Wilford Brimley. Since
Yes.
you touched on the fact that, like,
Yes, please.
one of
Yes,
the
please.
big shots is
There's like multiple slow-mo shots of Wilford Brimley in this film doing like hero shots.
absolutely
Where normally be a hero
Riding
shot.
away from a
Like you don't do
exploding
that by
house.
accident.
no.
That's
no.
insane. Like you have every choice as a director what to do, and they're like, I want Wilford Brimley in the hero shot in slow-mo. Okay, Mr. Wu, let's do
Yeah.
it.
And we all feel really old because he was 27 when he made this movie.
Somehow he gets younger
Yeah.
as the movies. He gets away from Cocoon. This is out before or after Cocoon.
Oh,
right?
way
well,
after.
yeah, well,
yeah.
Cocoon's like what, 87 or something? I don't
Probably
even know.
something like
Probably
that.
even earlier than that. actually.
The introduction of Wilford. He's more or less living in a shack from a WB Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
like
It looks like-
light bleeding through the planks, you know.
Yeah.
And he's making moonshine on
The exterior of this place, it looks like the size of a tree fort for a child.
It does look small. I think you explained it best. Like that was just made to be blowed up.
Yeah.
Blowed up.
You see it in the
Yes.
background, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's there to be blowed up.
All of a sudden, they go inside, and it's like, oh, four full-size adults can fit in this
Yes.
thing
Yeah.
just fine.
And
It's like an Alice in Wonderland shit.
we were during the what does Vern call that? Where they let
How
you know
badass is this guy? Mode.
Lance
Yeah.
Hendrickson's
Oh,
reading
yeah,
a file on him,
Yeah.
and he's like, he was raised by his uncle in the bayou or whatever. And,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like this guy's no joke. And so this second half of the movie is these guys are now hunting Van Damme and Natasha,
Right.
And so he has no choice but to lead them into the bayou to go to his uncle for help or try to hide from them or whatever.
Yes.
And so these guys end up getting a bunch of the millionaires who have hunted a bunch of their guys before. So like, we need your help. This guy's a big fish. And they say like, we'll pay you seven.
Yeah.
seven-
No,
Yeah.
no. They charge them.
He's-
Oh, they charge. Oh, that's
They
right.
charge
That's
you
right.
fucking rich people.
That's right. Like,
$750,000 to be on
like,
this hunt.
This is a special hunt.
But if they end up killing Van Damme, then they get it for free.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
special
Sorry, I
discount.
wasn't paying attention to that point. Jesus, what's
Yeah,
wrong
it's
with
a
me?
complicated.
I mean,
pricing
it's
structure.
very enticing. It's very
It looks
enticing.
like I could
Being a-
I could lose.
Yeah.
I can't lose.
I
here.
mean, personally, being somebody who loves to hunt homeless people,
Yeah. And-
like that's a pretty enticing deal.
yeah, and the fact that you're a millionaire too, you can afford to do it.
Yeah.
I hope one day I can.
Yeah. I mean, shit, look at this palatial studio. It's humid and not insulated. How else do you afford something like this?
And equipment that failed on us earlier. No,
Yeah,
I'm
right,
kidding.
right.
Okay.
I
So-
saw you looking at the screen. I was
just
like,
like,
oh,
no,
fucking,
I'm just
don't
double-checking.
tell me. Don't fucking tell me.
So the bayou is when shit gets wacky. The introduction of Wilford Brimley as his uncle.
That's a turn for the film.
It's a
for
turn
sure.
for the film.
Yes.
Van Damme starts punching snakes.
Punching snakes.
This is a snake.
There's horses.
Hold on,
and
hold on,
lots
hold
of
on.
sparks. That's when all the sparks show
Hold
up.
on. Hold on. This
Right?
is also
It
when
is, it
this
is.
is also when we start wiping the screen.
Oh
back
my
and
God!
forth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wiping transition wipes from left
But
to right.
before we get
Yeah.
on into all that, I want to bring up the fact that Wilford Brimley has this like Creole accent,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Cajun accent that just goes in and out.
Yeah.
like it's really bad.
Yeah,
It's really bad.
And it's funny because Van Damme, who is Belgium, right? He has.
Belgian.
Did I say Belgium?
Yeah.
Like
Belgian.
a waffle.
He's not the whole
Jesus
country.
Valentine's Day. He's Belgian. So he has a French accent, right? Because
Right.
I think
They have to have a reason. He's either from there or Montreal.
Yes.
they always do it in these movies, but
Yeah.
in this movie it's funny because he's playing like a French Louisiana, a Creole, like doing the Creole, trying to do that accent.
Did you feel
on
like
his
he was-
other accent? But all he's doing is saying like phrases like "My
He just-
mama took a chance."
Yeah, yeah.
Like
My
why
mama
is your name
took-
Chance? Because my mama took one. He's
Yeah.
like doing this like weird cadence.
I
It's
didn't
bizarre.
really feel like he was actually trying to do an accent.
He does. He says some weird lines in like weird ways.
Did he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he definitely.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
Man, I
trying
didn't
to like
notice.
put a.
I didn't know.
He's trying to put a
little
Noah
spin on it.
thing
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
totally.
I guess I never connected that back in the day, but now watching it, I'm like, oh, that's why he kind of says these lines really funky.
And I will say, this is my first time seeing this movie. I thought I had seen this.
Yeah.
I thought I had seen this because the poster to this movie was fucking ubiquitous.
The trailer. I mean, this movie had a huge.
I was going to say GIFs
video
from,
store.
like online for this movie are ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Like
sure.
the- him punching the snake and like. I think that one, like when he after he blows up the blazer, you said it was a blazer. He does
he does this or a Bronco or something like that.
Little thing.
Yeah.
That ends up in the GIFs a bunch too.
Yeah. But this was, I do remember this poster was everywhere.
Oh, it was-
It was absolutely everywhere.
It's not
and
a
it
good
stayed up
poster
for
either.
a
It isn't
long
a good
time.
poster.
It's
No,
not.
it's just kind of like,
not.
but it stands out because of the colors. It's like blue and orange,
Right.
and his face is on an arrowhead.
reflected in a
Reflected
metallic
But like other than that, it's like
razor
kind of-
blade arrowhead.
Yeah, it's just kind of void of like any other
there's a lot
detail.
a lot of dead space on
Yes.
it.
Do you think people actually polish their arrowheads like that?
I don't know. I don't
Is that a thing?
mess in that world. I don't know. Wasn't that like what is that? Does she have an arrow in all those what are those teen movies with what's her name that made her big?
with the
Hunger Games?
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
They,
I don't think she polished them.
No.
but did she have fancy arrows? I would think that
She did
her
have
arrows
like
were
fancy future arrows.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So horseback riding, snakes getting punched in the face.
Okay, talk about the snake. Talk about the snake. This
It's
snake.
an animatronic snake.
Yeah.
Gets punched in the fucking face, which knocks
Do they
it out.
which knocks it out, and then he bites the rattler off.
Yeah, to make it silent.
Yeah, and they throws it up in the tree.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Duh.
And
okay.
then throws it up in the tree, and then the snake wakes up after being knocked out, right? And then goes, oh, that must be the motherfucker that got me. And he jumps down and attacks one dude down there, right?
This snake
That's
looks
the
ridiculous.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Now, aren't like rattlesnakes are kind of like more of a desert snake?
I thought
Right?
so too, yeah.
Well, they have snakes in the bayou.
Do they have
Well, of
rattlers,
course, but
though?
they've got like
Probably.
vipers and anacondas.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I would guess they probably do. It seems like they're everywhere. I don't know. You're getting
Yeah, I mean,
really,
you could-
you're
you
getting
could be.
really like now you're really splitting hairs on this film.
You know what?
I
I
don't
said
know,
this
man.
while we were watching.
You know that
it, too. You're doing
train
a
that
lot
was
of
going-
fucking legwork to stick up for this.
You know that
goddamn
train
movie.
that was going that BNNF had not run a line
Hey,
in
look.
NOAA since 1965, and that was clearly like that was going north. And they would not take cotton on that route.
You know
'cause
what?
Cotton
That's a-
goes down to Houston before
Oh my
it heads
God,
back
dude.
up. So yeah, what they showed there when you jumped on the
You're
the
basically
cotton.
making fun of the fact where I was trying to understand the rules at the beginning when I was like, so they're not following their own rules, right? Like you guys are like, I don't know, man. They seem pretty. I was like, no, but look, like said to give him 5-minute head start. I don't think you're like, yeah.
Where's
no.
the time clock?
Where is the time clock
There's
on that thing?
this is not a MLB pitch clock
Yeah.
new rules thing going
Yeah.
on.
All right. So Snake gets punched. I don't know. When I was a kid, whenever things went to horseback, I was like, ah, fuck.
I never liked
I think it
westerns.
works in this movie only because like he's trying to make a western with a guy who does
I
martial
know.
arts, but that part is the weakest.
I just go,
the
"God, we're
horseback
getting on a
part
horse."
is weak.
And when it's like, I'm like, okay, it's me against all these guys. All I got is my shotgun and my horse. I go, oh,
You know what's actually interesting about that scene though? Watching it now is just sort of again.
You're talking about the scene there, like he's racing down the side
He's
of the
on a
river.
horse. He's getting chased by a helicopter.
Right,
But what's
right.
interesting about it now, because now it's CGI and none of it would matter. But what's interesting, like they have a shot in the helicopter of a guy shooting a gun.
Yeah.
And in the back, in the distance, the guy's on the horse and explosions
Yeah.
are going off, timed with the guy shooting the gun in the foreground.
Imagine
of the
that
shot.
shit.
Like the logistics to set that
It's
up.
ridiculous.
Like, you're gonna you take off on this horse. We're gonna have this helicopter go at this distance. We're gonna line this shot up, and we're gonna time these gunshots
Yeah,
and
when-
explosions to go off in one frame.
Now,
is insane.
people take that shit for granted.
Insane.
Like-
No, it's crazy
Yeah.
and it's super cool. But
Yeah.
the thing, like, he was just shooting a regular gun. Like, was there a grenade launcher
No,
involved? or
that's a
anything?
John Woo.
that's
thing.
a John Woo thing.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's just
John
like
Woo.
just random trees just explode.
Yeah,
Yes.
in sparks.
Yeah.
And that's where you're saying this is where
Yeah.
the sparks come into play. They're just shooting out of the ground.
Like
just
just coming
fuck,
out
man?
everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking metal.
Yeah.
In
the bayou.
When we were
Fireworks.
watching the
Fucking fireworks. The goddamn Roman candles.
Essentially that. Yeah. What? in the little special feature thing where they're interviewing John Woo, my sense of it is they had mostly probably a production crew or some sort of on-set crew that were like, we just want to make, we love your movies so much in Hong Kong. How do you make them? We want to make one here. And a bunch of dudes nerded out.
Yeah,
and were like,
exactly
hey, I made a bunch of sparks like on the hard-boiled explosions. And they're like, cool. Throw those in.
Let's do it in the woods right here.
Yeah, but like
the ground.
It is one of those films, but it's just a bunch of like film dorks. They're probably like, dude, I got to make a film with John Woo. And we had
which is exactly why most people
I can
laughed at this movie. Like I remember watching it too. We were talking about like people were laughing in the theater, not in a way of like I'm enjoying this, but in a way of like what the fuck is going on?
This is insane.
Camaro and I were standing up and screaming, "This is fucking serious!
This is John Woo and Van Damme. Shut the fuck up!
This is fucking serious!
You don't get it. You don't get it.
It would be like if we were.
Why don't you just leave, you guys?
It's the equivalent of like if someone was laughing in Schindler's List and we were like, God, dude, you're serious?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. This is John Woo.
Jerry Seinfeld making out in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
So the horse ride, and you love this. This is a classic plot point in these movies.
Has this become? Sorry to cut you off, but has this become like a cult classic? Is this a cult classic like John Woo movie now?
I think it's kind of well known. I mean, of his American films, this and Face Off.
Yeah,
right?
This and Face Off.
I mean, like he made like what is that? Paycheck. That movie is not watchable.
Paycheck. He made
Broken Arrow.
Wind Talkers.
Wind Talkers is awful.
Yeah,
too.
it is.
Wind Talkers not good. Broken Arrows not as good as this.
No,
this is better.
Yeah.
Face Off is the best.
Is Broken Arrow the one with
Travolta and Christian Slater?
Christian Slater and John Travolta.
Yeah.
That is the biggest cockpit to a stealth fighter I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like they can.
I can't tell you much of that movie.
Around.
I can't tell you much of that movie.
Ridiculous.
I don't remember that much about it either.
Anyway.
I liked it at the time, but I don't remember much.
I
about
did
it.
too.
But this and Face Off are his two best. American features by far.
But yeah, the plot. This is a classic plot point where Lance Hendrickson goes, "I want you to get the helicopter and corral him.
Right. Don't kill him.
Don't kill him.
We want to kill him on the ground.
We got to kill him on the ground because we're not. What is his line? We're not.
We're professionals.
We're professionals.
Yeah.
I guess that's
what the fuck does that matter?
Like hunting from the air is too easy,
too cheap. Yeah,
too cheap and too easy. We're professionals.
Yeah, but this guy has like gotten away like so many times.
This is the classic error that the bad guy makes.
No guns.
It's all ego. It's all ego, guys.
No guns.
Yeah, I want to hand to hand. I'll handle him. And Pitt calls him on it, and then that's when he says, because we're professionals, and so they corral him into
an abandoned warehouse.
An abandoned warehouse that turns into a place that houses a bunch of the Mardi Gras,
old Mardi Gras floats.
Yeah.
Which is actually more interesting.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Then like usually it's just a warehouse full of like old machinery.
Yeah.
But what that was a vehicle for is just like explosions with glitter.
All these things are loaded with explosive fireworks and glitter and whatnot. Yeah,
totally.
So then this is the big climactic scene where it's a showdown between Van Damme, his
and
uncle,
whole bunch of henchmen and
Lance and it's
Henriksen.
basically it's Natasha, his uncle, and him. Although the uncle and Natasha are not supposed to get involved, but goddamn, the uncle, he's got some arrows and he likes to shoot them. So so he gets involved. She gets involved a little bit. I mean, what are some of the highlights here?
Well, some of the highlights for me was the scene where it's like Van Damme ends up with like two guns, right? And he's pinned up. He's got to reload.
Oh, yeah.
And so does
Pitt.
Pick.
Pick. What I say?
So does
Pick.
Pick.
Yeah. Pitt. Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And so they're both like back to back on either side of this wall, right?
Having a dialogue.
Which is a shot that's used in like Hard Boiled and Face Off and this.
Right.
Yes. It's a signature shot.
And then they both turn around at the same time and start shooting and running along the wall.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love it.
Me too, but I never quite understand that stuff. Is it just like they're so close and the wall's so thick that they can't hit each other?
I think they're like, because they're shooting so close, you're just like, they're not really aiming or something because they're just like getting shot at.
Yeah.
Like, it's like so much.
It's like so hectic and so much shit's going on that they're not.
And Face Off, it's really good because they're like shooting a mirror, which is like they're shooting themselves.
Oh, yeah.
But it's actually the person.
I haven't seen that
you know what I
forever.
mean? Oh.
God bless.
Good stuff.
I mean, if this were real
But
life,
it's
everybody in this movie would be dead in the first 5 minutes.
It's just good for a lot of squibs going off and glass breaking and sparks.
I mean,
yeah.
It's just the stuff that happens in this finale would all be CG now. Like there's the amount of work that it takes to load all this shit up with explosive devices.
You get one take.
You got one take. You got to time everything out. You've got fake glass flying everywhere. It's ridiculous. Fires burning everywhere.
And I love a John Wick film, but they do lean on the CG stuff. Like they don't use I'm sure they don't, not that they need to, but they don't use like real gunfire in those films, right? They they CG all the flames and stuff into it.
They probably have don't really do the gas guns.
Yeah. I think they do like air pellet guns or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they don't use like squibs. They don't have like squibs blowing up on people. It's all CG squibs, and it's all like CG squibs mostly in like walls and other stuff. And now and then they have like glass break. But this is like that whole place is just rigged with like an insane amount of explosives. The scene halfway through where they have the shootout in the street. And the guy's like taking a machine gun to a bunch of cars.
Oh yeah,
and the cars are just
ping,
like
ping, 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 ping,
like,
ping, ping.
Yeah, they're loaded with like 100 squibs each or something. It's nuts.
I will say though that a movie like John Wick though does way better with that CG work.
No, I like those movies.
Than
like,
something like Rambo: Last Blood.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know where the blood stain on somebody's shirt is moving around.
Yeah, it looks
a
little bit.
No. I like the Wick films. I'm just saying, like I miss the sort of craft of like.
Oh sure.
These things are. There's something else, a scene at like where the scene's actually playing behind us where like a windshield of a car actually explodes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
and
you see with blood splattering all.
Sometimes those Wick or those CG things, like you're seeing the same CG animation you've seen in like 40 other movies.
Yeah.
And there's nothing original about it. Like when something actually explodes in real life, it does weird stuff.
Yeah.
It blows up in different ways. And you're like, oh, that was interesting.
It's very visceral.
Yeah. The way the blood splattered on the windshield with the break there or whatever.
Unpredictable and visceral the way it happens. Yeah. And I would think like, the stunt guys to this day, if you sat them down and talked about this movie, they would just have so many fucking stories.
For sure.
And it's one of these movies where it was like, this is a dying art. So when we get one of these movies where they're going to allow us to do all this shit, we're going to go fucking
that's
go
what I'm
big.
saying. There's like all these guys who probably geeked out on Woo films are like, we want to make one of these.
Yeah.
I'll bet you anything too. There was several injuries. On making
I'm
this
sure.
movie.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm surprised. There's a few scenes where I'm like, how did somebody not die?
Yeah. Another highlight is the Van Damme taking the gun, flipping it upside down, and doing the machine gun. He's like pulling the trigger really fast.
How is he doing it? Show me again. How is he doing it?
Like this, really hard and vigorous, like this. And then he unloads this gun into this dude, and this is classic Woo shit too. Is like 50 squibs go off in this guy's chest, yet he's somehow
still standing.
He's still upright.
He's a big guy.
And Van Damme helicopter kicks him in the fucking head. I mean, come on.
There's so many, like, the way he makes, like, shooting somebody with two guns and then do a spinning, like, hook kick.
To finish
him
off.
And then shoot him more.
And then shoots him more,
Shoot him more. It's like, it's so good.
It is.
It's like Woo always said this stuff was just, like, filming dance sequences, but that it really comes off that way. Like, he's just, like, doing a dance sequence.
It always made me laugh because this is the type movie.
Look at the squibs going off in this scene. This scene's like crazy for like the car blowing up and people rolling around.
We're currently watching the scene.
We always have it
we have it playing in the background. We're currently watching the scene that we were talking about earlier where it's like the morning and it's one of the big, this is the one that kind of
leads up to the
off-ramp car jump.
You got to give it to Woo, who, again, he's doing a Van Damme movie, and he goes, how could I film your kicks differently than most of your movies? Because up to that point, Van Damme, we've seen him kick a million times.
And you always see him do the splits at some point.
You always see him do the splits at some point. And so John Woo was like, let me even try to make this look aesthetically different than all of your other movies.
Right.
And I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does. It's like that's very memorable. Like, and the combination of the guns with the kicking. And
he kind of does the splits at one point with a kick.
Yeah, it's the
in
helicopter
midair.
kick, man. That's the helicopter kick. That's what I'm talking. Come on, get your
incredible.
fucking mind right. Get in the game, dude. It's the helicopter kick.
What do you mean? I
mean,
mean, he had both of his legs like almost spread out.
yeah. That's
Just
his
spread
famous kick.
apart
Just full
in the
spread.
Full
full spread.
Yeah.
in
blood sport.
midair.
He does it to Bolo Young 3 times
Wow.
in a row. Come on, man.
I mean, it's impressive.
That's his move.
It's
Kicking the guy off a motorcycle, that's a little bit different. Like he does do some stuff and then here
really,
that's like,
yeah. But that's how they incorporated splits, right? If he's
Sure.
not going to full blown do the splits, he does it mid-air.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a 360 helicopter kick.
just full spread though.
This is a type movie that my uncle full spread, wide open. Yes, JD. Yes, full spread.
Oh, got a real
this-
hard target.
This is the kind of movie that even when what were we 16, 93? So
Probably,
we just got maybe my mind couldn't grasp it at the time, but like watching it, I was like, this is not meant to be realistic in any way. But this would be a movie that my uncle would be like that wouldn't explode that way, or there's too many guns or too many bullets in that gun. He already ran out of. Dude, that wouldn't do it that way.
That
It's
was
like,
literally a comment I made while we were watching this
Well,
movie.
yeah, of course.
That wasn't your uncle. That was me.
yeah, but you made it on. I don't know what. Yeah, the clip ran out or the magazine ran out. Like that was just. I'm not saying you are my.
I
uncle
know.
because
I'm just
you know the
fucking with you.
fantastical nature of this fucking movie.
Sure,
but there were people at that time that could not grasp like this is a movie. Suspend your disbelief. Like John Wick is successfully doing that now, where people are like, no one's questioning if any of that
you're
shit's
right.
like.
That's
it's
a
like
good point.
It's just like okay, like this is gonna go bananas.
It's a
and
different.
we can't wait.
It's in its own universe.
Yeah. And this shit back then, it was like you couldn't get away with it. But audiences were just like, no, that's too unrealistic.
Yeah.
But if you had something like Lethal Weapon, that was realistic enough.
Right.
That like the action in that movie was totally realistic.
Yeah.
So I can buy
That's
it.
a good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought about like the John Wicks have gotten more and more like stylistically kind of out there. And people were fine with it.
Yeah, they're fine with it. Yeah. But back then you really couldn't get away with this shit. And that's like the people that liked John Woo got like, okay, this is ridiculous. It's fantastical, but it's very creative and very
if you want to see something that's more visually interesting, for sure.
Yeah. So
Well, you guys are making like this whole explanation and listening to you two talk about this, like, is making me like the movie a little bit more. Because by the end of this, I was just like,
yeah,
you know, like, I've never been the biggest John Woo fan. This movie, watching it, didn't really necessarily make me a bigger John Woo fan.
Yeah.
But like listening to your guys' explanations of different things and what you love about it has made me kind of like it more.
Well, look at that.
So look at that.
Look at that.
We did. We
Yeah,
changed the mind
We
here.
changed the mind
did it.
right here.
We did some good work today.
This is why you have discussions and you talk about things like this. And
if you can change,
You know what?
then we can change. The whole world can change. I think. Yeah.
God damn it, you guys! I think I'm gonna vote Republican in this next election.
Do we really need to say out ends a grenade and down the pants of Lance Henriksen?
It's actually-
Which goes off a lot later than most of
But
the
you know
other
what's interesting
grenades.
about that? Like, again, I feel like Wu or whoever wrote this, maybe it was a Raimi ad or something, like it was more interesting. Like, he puts a grenade down his pants and instead of it blowing up, he pulls out and unscrews it. And he's like, he goes like, yeah. And then it like sparks and he
whoop.
Oh, he does like,
Newman loved that.
It's so funny.
He goes, yep. The way he goes, yep. Newman would do that in day-to-day things, and it would always make me laugh because it's such an obscure,
really
weird
funny.
reference.
It is so good.
It's such a cool moment.
Yeah.
Like,
I completely agree with you.
Of
That
Wu
was
like
really
creating
cool.
these moments that don't exist in films. Like that's why some of these, like you go watch like the fucking Gray Man or some bullshit like that on Netflix. There are no moments in it. It's just boredom.
Yeah, it's just like shit you've seen
shooting,
before.
and it's all the same visuals,
It's straight.
whatever.
It's straight.
Yeah.
It's just it's the same.
And
It's the same level.
Think they're doing
as you go
something like
through.
this. They think they're doing like, well, this is going to be so exciting. You're like, it's just bland. It's just.
I think
there's
that was the
nothing.
first time I'd ever seen sort of, and I still don't know if this is how they work, but how, excuse me, a grenade kind of works. I don't know how a grenade works, but they try to show you the mechanics of it here,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
Yeah, is that
even at the
actually-
time I was
can
like,
you unscrew-
is that how that works? I don't know.
Sure.
You
Maybe
can.
that
It
kind
is how
of
that
grenade.
works.
What
That's
is
where
it?
the fuse. That's where the fuse is. So when
Is there
you,
gas in there? What's in a grenade?
it's a, it's
Fuck you.
Fuck off.
Just give me a break.
So the thing that sticks down into the bulb of the grenade, right? That's the basically the time release like little thing. Like if you see somebody with I can't remember the word of what it's called, but it's you see somebody with C4 right in a movie, right? And they stick that metal thing into it. Yeah, that's what that thing is.
The igniter
in the sure.
The detonators.
You
always got to get the detonators.
That's what it is. Detonator.
You need a detonator.
The inside of that bulb is filled with like gunpowder and stuff like that. And then,
is it?
Yeah. And then the outside of the grenade, like the pineapple grenade, it's cut with those things because that's the breaking points to create the shrapnel.
Huh.
So, like with a bulb grenade, like they had there, where it's like a perfect sphere, I think it's like, it's just made to create shrapnel.
Send all of your emails and texts to make it a point that you're gonna talk to Roden about
talk
this
to Roden
one.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google tomorrow. How is it?
I think I got it. I'm curious
I think I got it.
But yeah, so he throws it down his pants, kicks him into a thing after all sorts of other wacky on acid. God, we have to. Lance Henriksen being lit on fire and having a dialogue scene in this movie while he pulls his jacket off. You were up pouring a drink. You didn't see it, I don't think, but
I saw some of it.
He had so much of that like pyro fluid that keeps you from getting burnt. You can see all the jelly on his neck and shit, but
he's straight up on fire.
He's on fire.
Yeah.
He's on fire doing a dialogue scene and like a very like flamboyant with action and movement and shit.
Yeah.
So that happens probably. Huh?
It's a very impressive scene.
Yeah. And then so kicks him into the thing and then the whoops and
as an actor, that's got to be I would imagine that'd be sort of terrifying because there's so many stories of actors getting burnt.
Yes.
And getting that's their livelihood.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to light you on fire and you're going to act through this scene. Okay.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah. There's a reason that it's mostly stunt doubles that are doing that kind of work that then don't act. It's like you get lit on fire and then you scream and run into a lake.
Yeah.
It's
usually the move. Yeah.
And it's very short and quick. But yeah, he did it, man.
So it ends with Born on the Bayou, which is pretty right on the nose. What is that? Is that a Fogerty or on his own?
That's a Creedence.
It is a Creedence.
Yeah, it's Creedence.
It is a Creedence.
Okay. Creedence Clearwater.
Not just John on his own.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, here we are to the end of this fantastic journey. One that JD was really looking forward to. So.
And how does a little birthday gift?
Yeah, a little birthday gift.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
How many Blu Its you give it? We got 5 Blu Its here.
5 Blu Its.
There's no wrong answers. Snake's getting punched currently on the screen behind us.
So there's so many iconic. It's hard to judge this one just because I've seen it so many times. I would go with a 4 or something like that.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
it doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm gonna give it just a solid 3. I'm right in the middle.
And I will go between the two of you, and I will give it a 3.5.
Ooh.
Yeah. I honestly, like I've said, I like my Van Damage with his ass showing and splits happening and more kicks than you can shake a stick at. And even at the time when I saw this, I was like, I was a little mixed because I like the John Woo action, but it was not the Van Damage that I wanted. But But God, it's such an iconic Van Damme movie, and it's got so many moments that are just ridiculous.
I mean, this movie is completely whacked out.
It is completely whacked out.
So wacky, and I do love that. I wish there was a little, I'm just going to go dirty on it. I wish there was a little bit of nudity in this movie.
You wanted some boobs. There was a
drawing.
A drawing.
It was a photo. It was a printed photograph.
A photocopy.
A black and white photocopy of some boobs at one point.
That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, man.
And then the dialogue. I have one that I liked personally, but what was the one?
Oh, I can't remember it now.
Can
I
you
liked "Wake Up, You Fat Fuck." That was a good one.
And then he knife edges him in the gut. And the one I like is the guy that says, "Tell your girlfriend to turn her tits north and hit the gas." It's a creative way of saying get out of town. But anyways, there you go.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Cut, print.
Wakey, wakey, you fat fuck. Yeah!